Hey everybody. So today we're going to be taking a look at the new Lego Batwing set. So this is set number 76161 and it has 2,363 pieces. So this box is absolutely huge and I think the set is pretty huge once it's built. On the back here we can see another angle of it, and then also down here we can see that there is a stand that is included with this. Here's another angle of it being on the stand, and then over here we can see the minifigures that are included, including the same Batman that was included with the Batmobile, another Joker figure, a new one, that has the pen, the feather quill in his hand, and then we have one of his other goons, which is called the Boombox Goon, but also he's known as Lawrence. And then also, probably one of the coolest thing about this set is that you can actually mount this to the wall, which is exactly what I'm going to be doing because, as I've mentioned in previous videos, I am running out of room. So this is going to work out just fine. Now, I recently built this model kit from AMT of the Batwing, and I did this about 3 months ago, and I did a video on this, so you can check that out. So this was a fun model to build. So when I heard about the Batwing coming out that Lego was going to make, I thought, yeah, I definitely got to get in on this too. So, of course, this one's going to be way bigger than this one. But anyway, it's just such a cool looking aircraft, so it's going to be pretty neat. All right, well, let's take a look at what's inside the box. Okay, so this comes with a ton of parts and a ton of bags. So the bags are numbered up to number 13, and there is 25 bags total because of the multiples that are in there. And then we also have these ones which are not numbered, and that has the big long girder pieces, and that one's got the big old panels or whatever. And that piece there is the clear parts for the canopy, and hopefully they didn't get scratched up because they're just kind of bunched together. All right, well, let's take a look at the instructions. All right, so the instruction book is pretty darn thick. And there's a lot going on here, but what I like is that it's small, so it doesn't take up a whole lot of room, because that way you got room on your desk to build the whole thing. So anyway, on the inside here you can kind of see how everything's put together, and hopefully it'll go together fine without any issues. On the front here, it's kind of cool. They show you all this stuff, how the bags all go, and then it's got some interesting information about the Batwing itself. I don't know if that's the actual filming model or not. It could be. And they were just talking about how they tried to match up the little flaps and the little wing bits there, and how the actual wing edges were put together. That's really cool right there. And then that's the designer, or that's the lady that did the graphics. I skipped a page here. There we go. That's the designer right there. And just a little information about how he designed it. I kind of think it's cool that Lego provides that. Kind of gives you some insight. There's the Batmobile, which I also have and built. That is an amazing set. Oh, God, I love that thing. And so this is going to be a great companion piece to that. And then this is just kind of a little bit about the movie there. So anyway, it's very cool. So yeah, and then that's when you start to build it. On the back here, it also gives you some instructions on how you take apart some of the seats so you can get to the mounting hole that's on the inside, and then it just kind of gives you some instructions on how to mount it. So I'm going to try to mount this to drywall, so hopefully it's not going to be too heavy. I'll have to make sure I put a good solid nail in there. Here are the decals, and it looks like most of these are going to be for the interior of the cockpit. So that's what it looks like. Ooh, that one's cool right there. It shows the Joker when he was about ready to, let me see if I can go this way. Yeah, you can see how the Joker, that's when he was about ready to try to blast him when he had those balloons. That's pretty neat. All right, I like that. And that's the big one there for the big nameplate, or the plate that goes on the front. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started on this, and it's going to be fun. All right, so I'm working on bag number 4, and the first 3 bags went really quick. They kind of build this entire infrastructure here. And there's a big old frame that's underneath this as well. As you can kind of see, it's already getting pretty heavy, but it's pretty flat back here. I think there's going to be some details on here. And that's the hole for the stand, and that's the hole for the hanger. But yeah, this is already turning out to be pretty large. And then I really love the sideways construction of these pieces, which are going to go up here in the front somewhere. And I just love the way they do that. It's just really cool. You're not really sure what you're building until you kind of see where it goes. So yeah, I'm already loving this thing. It's been fun already. Okay, so this part that goes on the edge of the wing is so cool, the way that goes together. It's really unusual the way they made this thing. So you can see it just kind of is a big long line of parts that's going to fit in on the edge of the wing. Now, I'm not really a big fan of rubber bands. I kind of wish they wouldn't use these things, as you know, they dry out and break over time. Although these rubber bands that Lego makes are a little bit different. Hopefully they hold up over time. And then this is another thing that was really cool. They have this little hidden Easter egg in here. They have this nice printed Batman logo disc piece, and once this final piece goes on here, it's going to cover it mostly, but that's actually going to fit inside the edge of the wing over here, and so you're not even going to really see it. So anyway, I just thought it was kind of neat how they put that in there. It was really unusual the way this went together, and a lot of fun to build. So just to show you real quick, this is how those rubber bands fit inside there and keep the edge of the wing close to the edge right there. So the other one's over here. So yeah, it's really cool how they figured this out. I don't know, it's amazing to me every time I build some of these sets how these engineers for Lego come up with this stuff. It's absolutely amazing. Okay, so I'm working on bags number 8. And I got to show you this thing. This is really cool. Look at this, the way this vent is put together. So this is the section that goes on the back of the Batwing, but it's really neat the way you make these layers, and you can see how it all looks like that. So yeah, I already did this side over here, but that's how that's put together. You know, and you have this sideways way that's put on. But yeah, that is so cool. I love the way that was. I mean, it was really fun to build that part. Okay, well, I got the whole thing built now, and oh my gosh, this thing is huge. I can't believe how big it is. This thing's a massive beast. So it's bigger than I thought it was going to be. I'd say it's just shy of 2 feet wide. It's probably about 23 inches wide. And then lengthwise from front to back, it's about 20 inches, I'd say. So yeah, it's just massive. I can't believe how big it is. Here from the front view, you can see it's nice and sleek. I love the way they made that look. And then down here you can see the nameplate. Trying to get a light on it so you can see it better. But there you can kind of read some details on there. And then coming back to the front here, so you can see all this really nice detail of the front right here. You can see those guns on each side. Here's where the canopy starts. There's some more little cool venting going on over here. I love these little details in here, and kind of over here it's like the decals that are actually on it. You can see the inside right there. I love those red missiles. You got some machine guns here on the side, and you can just kind of see the whole sleek beauty of it all. There's those vents back there. I just can't believe it. The wings are really well done. I think they got the shape pretty good, considering, you know, it's Lego. They somehow figured out a way to do it, and I kind of like this raised area that kind of goes around right here. These flaps, I'm not really sure about. I thought they were black on the filming model, and at least on the model that I built too. You can see what it looks like underneath there. But maybe they are gray, I don't know. Or they just went with gray to kind of help break up the color a little bit. I'm not really sure, but it's a nice feature that they made them lift like that. There you can see the cool grills. There's about, I think there was like something like 84 grills on the left and right side to make up all of that. Here's, I kind of thought they did a good job of replicating the rivets that you see on there by using these pieces that have the studs that go around the edges. And the nice finishing detail, there's a light right there. It's on both sides of the wing. There's the other one. This wing looks just like the other one, just mirror imaged. But yeah, and then I showed you how that side edge goes together. I thought that was pretty ingenious. But I mean, this thing is just beautiful. I just love the way it looks. The canopy in here, you can this actually just comes off. It doesn't really attach to anything. It doesn't have any stud connection or anything. It just kind of rests down in there. And then here you can see the seat, and then it looks kind of like a kind of cool little seat there. This will actually you know, adjust, and so will the headrest. And then there's not really anything back there. And then here you can see the instrumentation that's going on. Those are all stickers down in there. And including the front here, you can see, if I go upside down here, you can kind of see that's that Joker one. And a few little instruments and dials and gauges on the side. These little levers right here, you can actually move these. Let's see, you can move those too. So I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, this is very neat. And then this thing back here, now this is the little thing that, I don't know if I can open this or not. It's kind of hard to get it, but when you lift it up, well, let me open it up real quick and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so it actually opens from the other side. So anyway, so yeah, this little compartment opens up. You can see the little lid right here, and it says Bat Engine on that sticker, which I think is pretty hilarious. But inside there is a couple of little crowbars, and you're supposed to use one of the crowbars to take this bottom tile right here out, and when you do, that's what shows the little hanger. So I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so you use the little crowbar here to get in there, and I already kind of loosened it, but it's just to pick that little tile out. And then once you get the tile off, now you can see the little hanger right there. So when you're hanging this on the wall, you can get a better idea where the screw is that you put in the wall to put it in there. So I thought that was actually a pretty good way to do it. Plus you can also mark the wall through that hole where you're going to put it on the wall. So yeah, I think that's a really great feature that they did. And I'm glad they thought ahead to aid the builder to be able to hang it so that they know where they're going to put it. Now on the bottom here, you can actually see they added a little bit of detail on here. So there's kind of like this big long stretch of smooth section that you kind of add on here that they decided to add. I mean, they didn't just leave it flat, which I think is really cool. And then I think these are supposed to be like the landing gear. There's one on each side there. So you just kind of build those, and then you have the studs, kind of like sideways construction, so it just kind of sticks onto there. But I like that they didn't just leave it, kind of empty looking or flat or bland. And they have the little flaps back here too, which are really cool. And then these will actually fold up so that if you decide to mount it to the wall, you can actually just flatten those. Or if you want it on the stand, then you can have them down. So I thought that was really cool. I mean, they've really kind of gave this whole thing some really nice thought on how this was going to look. So but yeah, God, man, I just can't believe how this looks. So let's compare it to the Batmobile. Okay, so here's the Batmobile with the Batwing, and these sets are both just massive sets. I mean, I don't even have enough room on this table to display them. I mean, that just shows you how huge they are. So of course we know that the Batmobile is just another amazing set, but you can kind of get an idea of how big the Batwing is alongside the Batwing or the Batmobile. But these sets they go together so well. I mean, if you can find a really cool way to display these things together, I mean, it would make a fantastic looking display. But yeah, and you get, of course, the minifigures of the original Batmobile there, and then these are the new minifigures for the Batwing, which I'll show you a close-up of those guys. But anyway, yeah, that's what the two look like together, and they take up a lot of space. They're huge. Okay, so let's take a closer look at the minifigures that come with this set. So, so the base that comes with it is the exact same one that you get with the Batmobile of the building ledge here and the gargoyles, which some people didn't like that, but I think it's fine. I mean, it fits the movie. It fits the theme of it and the look of it. And I actually think it's a pretty clever base for these guys. This is the same Batman figure that you get with the Batmobile. It's got the same rubbery cowl and cape piece. That's all in one. And so, yeah, I'm fine with that too. You do get this new guy. His name is Lawrence. And you can see he's got the cool little pin on the front of the Joker right there. And then he's also got and they call him the boombox goon too. Anyway, he has that cool boombox piece. I've never seen that before. And then he also has this really nice arm print right here. You can kind of see it. It's got the Joker cards on it. So I think that's really neat. And they did a really good job on his face with his mustache. I mean, it looks like the guy, so they did a good job on him. And then I just love this new Joker figure, Jack Nicholson. And this is when he's kind of in that mime outfit, and he's got the quill in his hand for the the pen is mightier than the sword scene. I think that's pretty funny. Really great printing on his tuxedo there and the way his pants are. And then I also love on the back here, he's got his tails. It's like one of those cloth pieces for the tails. So yeah, I love it. I think this figure looks really good. Jack Nicholson, of course, is such a great actor. He did such a great job playing that role. So yeah, I'm really pleased with these figures, and I think they look really good. All right, well now comes the hard part, and that's trying to figure out how to hang the Batwing. Okay, so I'm going to be mounting my, I got this bookcase full of more Lego sets here, but anyway, so I'm going to be mounting it into this corner because I think it'll be a nice place to put it. It won't be in the way where people will be walking by it and accidentally brush up against it or bump into it. So I already checked this wall for studs, and there's one right about here. There it is, and then it's empty for a while. And that's what I want it right about here, so it's going to not have a stud back there. And then there's another stud right about here. So yeah, I'm going to be putting it right in the middle right there. So I'll have to get the hardware for that. So I'm going to just be using one of these wall mounts or wall mollies or whatever you call these things. They help to stabilize whatever you put in there. And I found these longer screws, which you need. I think you're going to need some relatively long screws because that hole up inside there, it actually kind of goes in there a ways. So about maybe this much of the screw is going to be, you know, exposed just to hang it. So you're going to need this much screw to go inside the wall. So you're going to have it relatively long. So these screws are, oh, well, it would probably help if I had it right side up. So it looks like these things are, I can't even see where the length is. Oh, 2 inches, I guess? Oh no, that's a 2-pack. Oh, 2 inches, yeah, 2-inch screws. All right, and these are Phillips. All right, well, we'll see how that works. I hope I don't make a big, huge hole in the wall. All right, so I've been to 2 different hardware stores because this is turning into a bigger deal than I thought. Okay, so the original screw that I was going to use, this one here, it's got way too big of a head. It's not going to fit inside this, you know, this thing. So the other thing is when you take that little tile out for the seat, you're also going to have to take out. Well, so here's the thing. I got this screw instead because it's got a flatter head and it'll actually fit. Let me see if I can get down underneath here. So let me reach in. Okay, so this screw, it's got to fit in this it's got to fit right in here and it's got to fit in this slot. So that other screw, the head is too big. So whatever screw you use, you're going to have to make sure that the head is small enough to fit in this slot. But you also got to make sure that the screw is long enough because, like I said, this thing weighs a ton, and you can't be putting just a small little screw in here to hold this because it'll just fall right off the wall. It'll rip a hole right out of the wall. So you're going to have to make sure the screw is long, and because like I mentioned, from the distance between the wall and this hanger is probably about this much of the screw. So you're going to need a little bit of it to stick out in order to reach just this thing right in here. So you're going to have enough screw to go into the wall to be strong enough. And so anyway, so not only are you going to have to take out that tile, but you're also probably going to have to take out the little side arm pieces. And then there's also this piece, which I didn't know came out. Thank goodness it does. There's this yellow piece in here. You can pop that out. And that way you can get the screw down inside this section here because there was no way it was going to fit in here otherwise, and I couldn't figure out, you know, how I was going to do that. So I accidentally popped it off, and so I'm sure they designed it that way. But whatever you do, just make sure you get a screw head that is narrow and a good long screw and a thick one. I think this one was a 10 by 2 is I think what is what it was called. I think 10 was the thickness and 2 was the length, 2 inches. So anyway, I hope you find that helpful. All right, so let's see if this is going to work. All right, so there we go. I got the that little wall molly or whatever you call it is now inside there, and then we got the bolt in there, and it's sticking out just enough for the Batwing to hang right on there. Like I said, you have to have this much of a space in there in order for it to hang properly. So let me show you what that looks like. Okay, so now you can see how the head of the screw fits right in that slot, and that's exactly what you want it to do. So there's a little bit of looseness, so you can kind of move it a little bit if you need to. You know, it's like not really tight up against the wall. You should give it just a little bit of room. But all right, so let me get everything put back on, and I'll show you what this looks like. Okay, there it is. I got it all mounted now, and it's in the corner where it's going to be safe and not bumped into, and it just kind of goes with kind of a hodgepodge of stuff over there. But if I can zoom in on it here, you can kind of see how that looks. So yeah, it looks really good on the wall. I am so glad they made this a wall mountable thing. So let me get closer to it. Okay, yeah, so here it is closer up now. So yeah, that looks really, really good on there. I'm loving the way this mounted on there. And it is a fingerprint magnet, so you're gonna have to clean it. I just used a gentle, like a mild household cleaner or whatever on a rag just to get all the fingerprints off, because yeah, it does get fingerprints really bad. But once it's cleaned up, it looks much, much better here. So yeah, it looks really good. And then I didn't want to waste the little figures because there's no place to put the figures. So what I did is I came up with this little shelf. It's just a goofy little thing, but I just thought it kind of looked good with it because, as you can see here, it looks really good with it. So all this is just I just took 2 nails and hammered them in the wall, made sure they were level, just like that. That's all it is. And then I just took a piece of foam board here, and you can see on the back I cut 2 little ruts into the back of it so that it'll fit right here on the nail, so that way it doesn't, this thing doesn't slide off. And then I just put these guys on here, and then it just kind of gives them a little place to be displayed on there. I think that looks pretty cool. And then I didn't want to waste the nameplate either, so I used good old-fashioned Scotch tape and put 2 little rolls of it on the back and just put it on there and made sure it's level. And I think it looks really good overall. I think that kind of makes it look like a really nice little display like that. So yeah, I'm actually very pleased with the way that turned out. That looks really cool. So yeah, I mean, if you decide that you're going to use, I mean, the stand is okay. I mean, I'm not gonna, I mean, it's a little wobbly, to be honest with you. When you have the Batwing sitting on this thing, it's a little wobbly. I'm not sure. I don't feel really comfortable having it on this. I mean, it's a sturdy enough stand, but that thing is so heavy. I mean, you have no idea how heavy it is. And then when you're hanging it, it's kind of scary. So you want to make sure, like I said, you put a really good wall mount. So, I mean, this is fine. You can use the stand, but I'm just simply saying that it's kind of not really the strongest thing, I guess. But all right. Well, anyway, that is the Batwing, and it's all mounted and everything. And maybe this will give you guys some ideas out there on how to mount yours and display it. But I gotta say, Lego, man, they really knocked it out of the ballpark with this one. I love this set. This is so cool. Every time I buy some of these new sets, I'm just always amazed. And this one here, this was just fantastic. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I very much appreciate it. And I'll see you on the next video. Take it easy.